Hey you, have you ever wanted to learn how to add a little sparkle to your projects? Or creative ways to hide your face but still have your likeness? Or are you just interested in animation but could never figure out how to do it? My name is Kimberly Murphy, and today I'll be teaching you how to animate for free. Firstly, what is animation? Animation, simply put, is a type of filmmaking method that takes still images like cartoon drawings and manipulates them to create moving on images. The art of animation has evolved over the years and can be found in many different forms, such as traditional, which are hand-drawn images, computer-generated, also known as CGI, 2D, which are flat drawings, and 3D, where one example would be clay animations. And lastly, stop-motion animation. For this lesson, we will be focusing on stop-motion animation. But what is stop-motion animation? Stop-motion animation is when we manipulate objects in tiny increments between individually captured frames to create the illusion of movement when these frames are played in order. Some examples of stop-motion animation in films would be 2000's Chicken Run and 2009's Fantastic Mr. Fox. So, what will you be able to do after you watch my lesson? Firstly, you will understand step by step how you can create short animations by using 2D stop-motion animation. Secondly, you will learn how to use free art resources in innovative ways to create these short animations rather than expensive art programs we see out there. And lastly, at the end of the video, we will go over why you should learn how to create these short animations and why it is a useful tool for you. So let's get into the resources. When animating, you will need 1. An art program where you can draw what you want to animate. For this, I recommend Kaliki.com because this is an online free art program that has all of the elements of a program like Adobe. And 2. Places where you can stitch the frames together, aka a video editor. I recommend using Microsoft Clipchamp because this program works for my computer. For my lesson, you will see me use Canva to get rid of backgrounds, which is something I do when I want to add more realistic elements to my animations. However, if you do not have access to Canva, I recommend using move.bg, which is another free online art program. Moving on to how to use Kaliki and Canva. Firstly, let's go into the layer tool. The layer tool will be the option next to the brush tool. Layers are individual sections that you can draw on without overlapping with the previous layer. There is a variety of different ways you can use layers. Firstly, once you have drawn something that you are satisfied with, you want to create a new layer. This is because if you make a mistake on the new layer, or if you just don't like what you've drawn, you can just erase that layer without affecting the previous layer. Using layers for coloring is another tool you can utilize. Once you have the black and white drawing, you will create a new layer and order it underneath the layer with your drawing. This is so you don't have to worry about coloring inside the lines, as the extra color will go underneath it. For the transformation tool, you will find it in a tab called Edit. We'll use this tool with the duplicate layer tool, which is in the Layers tab. The reason for this is to make your drawings more symmetrical. First, you will draw something like an eye, then you will duplicate that layer, and then you will use the transformation tool and press flip Y. You can now move your drawings within this layer to a place you are satisfied with. Now I will show you how you can use Canva to make those realistic elements. The reason you should do this is if you don't know how to draw something like hands, or if you just want to create a more dynamic image. In Canva, when you select an image from the Element tool, you can press Edit Image. You will then be given options for editing. Press the Erase tool and draw over the parts of the image you want to get rid of. Or if you want to just get rid of the background of your image, go back to the Edit Image option and select Transparent Background. Canva also has layers. If you watch what I'm doing, I'm selecting the image I want and putting my drawing on top of it. It covers that image because it's in a new layer. I then just duplicate that image of the man and use it Use the erase tool to get the elements I want and then put them into a new layer. Now that we know the basics of how to use our tools, let's move on to how to animate. Step 1 is drawing your image. For this step, I'm going to walk you through how I use all of the tools we went over. Firstly, I use the duplicate and transform tools to create a set of eyes that are symmetrical. You want to continue doing this for other elements you are drawing, as well as, for example, what I did with the ears and the face fluff in my drawing. Another tool you should utilize in the layer tool is opacity, which affects how light or dark a layer is. This can be used when you have a sketch layer or something you want to trace. You will see me erase parts of the drawing without affecting the overall drawing. This is because the layer function that we have gone over. Step 2 is coloring your image. Using the layer tool, you want to create a layer underneath your drawing. For quick coloring, use the fill tool. However, you need to be careful because if there are any gaps in your drawing, the fill tool will color in everything the line is opening to, for example, the background. The fill tool will not color 100%, so you will need to go in and color any small gaps of color. This is important because in the animation process, you want to have a base that is a solid color so there will not be any discrepancies. If you want, you can also create small colored details, but you want to keep them as simple as you can. Step 3. Now that you have your base drawing, you're going to save it. Then you're going to take that base drawing and change that layer into lower opacity. In the new layer, you are going to trace that part you want to animate, in this case the top of the eye. Then you are going to duplicate that layer and use the transformation tool. You want this to be traced over the original drawing. You're going to merge that trace layers together and use the transformation tool. Move this trace layer directly underneath the original position of the top of the eye. You will then create a new layer and place it in a specific order. This layer should be underneath the trace layer but above the original drawing. Then you're going to color in any parts of the original drawing that you can see in that layer. Note that the original drawing has not been affected. You're going to repeat this process a few more times. However, you do not want to continue this for the whole process. You will need to do the same steps as you would tracing the original drawing and draw an image that looks more like an eye closing to you. It can be an upside down smiley face, a slanted line, etc. You're going to follow the same steps that you have done with the first trace layer, and you'll continue moving this layer down until the eyes are closed. Note that I have been saving everything that I have done and that you cannot see parts of the original drawing. The last step is putting all the pieces together. You're going to boot up your video editing program and you're going to put all of the drawings you have made into it. Put them in order. For this animation, I will start with a completely open-eye drawing and end with a closed-eye drawing. The first frame, the open-eye drawing, should be the longest frame that you have so that the animation looks less rushed. You will then take the frames that you have the action movement and make them a length that creates a movement that you are satisfied with. Note that they all should be about the same length. Once you have sped up the movement that you are satisfied with, you will then go backwards. What I mean by this is that the order of the first half of the videos, for example, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will duplicate the frames in the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. Note that you are not going to duplicate the last frame of the first half of your animation. You will then copy and paste the frames that are in the opposite order to the right of the last frame. That is so the animation flows smoother. Make sure that the animation is in the correct order and you are done. Learning how to make small little personalized things like animation and putting them into your videos really adds to this personalization and charm of your work. I started making animations in place of my face because I was uncomfortable with showing my face in the video, but I still wanted to add a piece of myself. What I have found is that people really enjoy this kind of goofy way of getting to know me. And as a teacher, I want to create a place that feels, in a way, more personal and learning tools that add to that charm in our resources is one way I believe we can do that. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope this helped.